Hello all and welcome to Pure Yoga. So this is the Vinyasa Mandala, which has also got some salutations involved in it. We do quite a few of those rounds of those. So we're going to be starting in standing today. So coming to the front of your mat. So a Mandala practice is where we travel around the mat in 360 degrees one way and then take it back 360 degrees the other way. And we add all these different poses in to transition that move. So you'll be seeing all four corners of the mat, all four edges of the mat, all four sides of your room. So really listen carefully as I speak you through the practice, because you have to really think about which leg we're starting on. If you start on the wrong leg, you'll be facing the wrong way. Okay, so come into the front of your mat, have your feet hip width apart, lift all 10 toes, and then bring those toes down from the little toe all the way through to the big toe, just finding the whole base of that foot. So feeling the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, feeling your left and right sides of the foot, and then find that space in between. Take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, then bring them back down towards the hips, turn the palms forward, let everything relax in the upper body. Then try and think of having a little micro bend in the knees, not something that you could personally see, but just something you can feel. And then feel like you're tucking the tailbone down and lifting the lower belly up, bringing that rib and hip tether towards each other. So just bring a little bend into the neck so the chin comes slightly in towards the chest, close the eyes, and just take a few moments here to feel the grounding of the feet. If the eyes are closed, you're maybe noticing a little bit of movement, a little bit of sway of the body from side to side or forward or backwards. If you can see whether you can try and bring that to a little more stillness, it won't be completely still, as the body is always moving slightly. If those eyes are closed, just have that whole feeling of going internal. If the eyes are slightly open, just a soft gaze down towards the floor. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and a long sigh out through the mouth. Then if you're happy to bring that breath in and out of the nose, unless you're holding any colds or allergies, in which case use the mouth, or if you're not comfortable using the nose, use both. But the key is to continue to breathe. Take that mental scan of the body from the top of the head, down to the fingertips, down to the toe tips, just having a check-in with how that body feels, having a check-in with anything that you need to look after through practice, being mindful as you move. Take an opening of the eyes, and as you breathe in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together, interlace the fingers, then push the hands up, and then take a lateral flexion over to your right side, but keep pushing into that left foot so the weight doesn't come all the way over just into that right foot. Keep that bum slightly tucked, lower belly lift, relax the shoulders, but push the palms to the ceiling. Come back through center and take it to the other side, bringing the hands over to the left, pushing nice and strong into that right foot, so you're really stabilizing through both feet, still feeling all 4 points of those soles. Come back to the center, and then bring the left hand forward, the right hand back, and just take a rotation to the right side, keeping the hips facing forward. So we take that rotation in the waist, shoulders come along for the journey, and then bring those hands back up to the ceiling. Turn the shoulders back to the front of the room, then bring the right hand forward, the left hand back, and rotate and twist to the left. Breathe easy breaths as you hold the pose. Try not to dump into that lower back, keep that lower belly lifted. Then bring those hands back to center, and then bring the hands down by the sides of the body, then place them on the top of the thighs. Just take a bend in the knees. Take a breath in, lift up the bum, lift up the head, take an arch in the back. Take a breath out, fold everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone turns. So we're taking a standing flexion and extension of the spine. Move to your breath. The in-breath lifts the bum, lifts the head, roll the shoulders back. Breath out, we fold everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone turns. Keep pushing into both sides of the feet, so pushing into your big toe, pushing into your little toe, just to make sure you still have that good grounding into the floor. Feel that articulation of the spine, noticing if you've got any tight spots that you need to look after, that you need to stretch more, noticing the fluidity of the other parts. And then in a moment, just bring that body to neutral, sink the hips a little lower, bring the hands to the chest. Just hold it in that chair position. Try and hook that tailbone down and draw the belly back. Just creating a little strength in those thighs for a couple of breaths. Still feeling the weight maybe more now into the heels with a slight feather touch through the toes. Holding for one more breath. Then on your inhale, straighten back up. Bring the hands by the sides of the body. Starting with our sun salutations. Breath in. Raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the legs, bring the hands to the floor, bend the knees as much as you need to. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step the right foot back, step the left foot back. Drop down with the knees, bend the elbows, graze the ribs, release to the floor. Untuck the toes, push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. We're just going to hold it in downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Maybe you wish to paddle your feet on this first round of sun salutation. Maybe you need to take a little movement through those hips. Have maybe a nod and a shake of those heads. Then when you're ready to bring those heels back to stillness, encouraging those heels towards the mat. Then take a gaze in between the hands, step your right foot in between, step your left foot to meet the right and allow that body to fold over the legs. Let the head go. Breath in, raise the hands back up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. And on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti He. Release the hands to the side of the body. Breath in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling, palms come together. On your breath out, bend the knees, fold from the hips, bring the hands to the floor, let go of the head. Breath in, straighten the legs, come up to a half fold. Breath out, plant the hands, step the left foot back this time, then the right foot. Then release to the floor, either dropping the knees or straight bodies. Untuck the toes. Push into the hands and lift up the chest. Release the chest back down, tuck under the toes, bring the chest back towards those thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips and squeeze the heels back. Again, just holding in down dog for a couple of breaths. If you're happy to keep squeezing the heels back with no movement through those legs, or paddle the feet if those hamstrings are still a little tight. Even if you're straightening the legs and encouraging the heels down, if that feels a little too much and you don't want to paddle, just take a little bend into those knees. Try and create that width across the shoulder. Try and push into those hands, widen the fingers. Then take a gaze in between the hands and step your left foot through in between. Step your right foot to meet the left and allow that body to fold, let go of the head. Your next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling, bring the palms together. And on your out breath, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti He. Release the hands down by the side of the body. We're going to make our way back to down dog to start the flow of that mandala. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, come to half fold, lift, straighten the legs. Breath out, plant the hands, step, walk or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Then make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes and lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. So remember, you could have dropped the knees, you could have come down with a straight body to the floor, or you could have done that chaturanga jump back if you wish. Have a nod and a shake of the head. And we're going to start with our first part of the mandala flow. Bring your weight into your left foot, raise your right leg up to the ceiling. Then bring that knee of the right to the chest, keep the hips high. Gaze in between the hands as you step your right foot through. Keep low in the hips, then raise up the arms to find a high lunge position. Relax the shoulders, lengthen up through the arms, try not to flare the ribs. Holding it in high lunge just for a couple of breaths. Sink maybe a little lower into the hips. Keep breathing nice, long, easy breaths. Bring the hands to the hips, taking 4 knee dips with that left knee. On your out breath, bend into that left knee, come to hover off the floor. Breath out, straighten that left leg back out. 3 more, take a bend into that left knee. And then straighten that left leg back out, using the glute strength. Bend into that left knee. Straighten that left knee back out. 1 more, bend into that left knee, hips stay low. Straighten that left leg back out. Hold it for a breath. Then release the hands to the floor. Straighten up through that right leg. So both legs are now straight, taking it into pyramid pose. And then just allow that body to fold over that right leg. Try and encourage your left hip forward, your right hip back. Long, easy breaths here. Then start to walk the hands around to your left side, all the way around to the back of the mat, finding your lunge legs to the back. Then raise the hands up towards the ceiling, finding high lunge. Your back leg straight, so the right leg straight, and this time your left knee's bent. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms. Maybe gaze up to those hands if you wish. Breathing easy, breathing deeply. Then bring those hands to the hips. Same thing to the back of the mat. We take a dip into that right knee. On your out breath, take a dip. Hover off the mat. In breath, straighten that back leg. And dip. And straighten. 2 more. Dip into that right knee. And straighten. 1 more. Dip into the right knee. And straighten. Hold it for a breath. Then release the hands to the floor or even the shins. Straighten up through that left leg, encouraging that right heel to the back of the mat, which is actually now the front of the mat. Let that chest sink over that left thigh. Maybe let the head hang, maybe bringing that chin towards that shin. On your next in-breath, step your right foot to meet your left. Allow that body to fold over the legs, so we're at the back of the mat. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. And breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti Hi. So sun salutations from the back of the mat. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Release down to the floor, maybe drop the knees or straight bodies or hover. Roll through, up, lift the chest. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Long breath in and long breath out. So then taking your right foot back to the front of the mat, Bring your left foot to meet the right. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samasthiti here. Release the hands by the side of the body. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, either step back with the opposite foot or jump back to chaturanga or plank. Then release to the floor. Your variation may be all the way to the ground. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. And then release the chest down or roll straight over those toes. Back to down dog. Lifting the hips and squeezing those heels back. Take maybe a paddle through those feet. Maybe a nod and shake of those heads. Bring those heels to stillness. And find that downward facing dog just for another breath. Then take a gaze in between the hands, step your left foot through, step your right foot to meet the left, allow the body to fold. Breath in, bring those hands back up towards the ceiling, palms come together at the top. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Take a bend into the knees, bring the hands onto the thighs. Breathe in, lift up the bum, lift up the head. Let the back arch. Breath out, fold everything in, taking that spinal articulation. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum. Do this a few times just to neutralize this spine. Breathing and moving with that breath. And bring it to a neutral place. Release the hands to the floor. Step both feet back to a plank. And then lift those hips. Squeeze those heels back. So we're going to start with the right leg. So thinking about that right leg lift. Breathe in, lift up the right leg. And as you breathe out, bring that knee to the chest. And step your right foot through in between those hands. Keep your left hand on the floor, your right hand comes to your shoulder, turn and twist to the right side of the room, but you're still facing the back of the mat. The left leg straight, the right knee's bent, stacking the right shoulder as much as you can, using that left hand to anchor the twist. Then reach that right hand to the ceiling, maybe gaze up to that thumb. Feel that rotation through the spine, the neutralization of the hips. That rotation of the cervical spine, which is around the neck to gaze up towards that thumb. So keeping nice and stable with the feet, pushing into the floor, raise up with the shoulders, bringing the shoulders over the hips, so the left hand's facing forward and the right hand's facing back. Turn and twist those shoulders, maybe a little more. Stay bent into that right knee, straight through the left leg. Rotated through the spine. Holding it here just for one more breath. And then bring the hands down either side of the right foot. Walk the hands around to the left side. Taking yourself all the way around to the front of the mat. Bend into your left knee this time. Your right hand stays on the floor, your left hand comes to the shoulder, and we turn and twist. Try and stack that left shoulder as much as you can on the right, and feel the anchor of that right hand pushing into the floor. Then raise the left hand, maybe raise that gaze to that left thumb. Easy breaths, rotated waist, rotated cervical spine, neutralized pelvis, left knee bent, right leg straight. And then with control and feeling the stability to the floor, slowly raise those shoulders over those hips, finding that rotated warrior. So the shoulders are turned to the left, the hips are facing the front, the gaze is to the left knee still bent, right leg straight. And we should be facing back to that front edge of the mat, so you should be facing the camera. One more breath here. And then bring those hands back to the hips, turn the shoulders to the front of the mat. Step forward with your right foot. Take a paddle of the feet, so we're at the front of the mat again. Taking in some sun salutations. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, either step back or jump back to plank. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Then make your way back to down dog just for a few breaths. Taking that posterior chain stretch, creating some space through the shoulders, some space through those collarbones. Stepping forward with your right foot, stepping forward with your left foot, and allow that body to fold over the legs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Palms come together at the top. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step your left foot back or jump back to chaturanga or plank. Release either to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift the chest. Making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Making sure that those feet are hip width apart, the hands are shoulder width apart. You're pushing into those index fingers, thumbs, little fingers. Relaxing through the neck. Squeezing the heels back. Gazing between the hands and step or jump to the front of the mat. And allow that body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Palms come together at the top. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti. Take a bend in the knees, bring the hands onto the thighs, a little spinal articulation of flexion and extension. Breath in and out, moving that spine into an arch and then a flex. Chin tucks as you breathe out, and the tailbone. Chin lifts and tailbone lifts as you breathe in. Feel that fluidity of the spine. And when you come back to a neutral space, bring the hands to the floor, step back to a plank, and then lift the hips and squeeze the heels back. So we're going to be starting with our left foot going into the opposite direction now, so taking that 360 degree around the mat to the right side. So as you take a breath in, raise that left leg up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, bring that knee to the chest and step that left foot through. Drop down with that back heel. Windmill that hand of the right up and over, so we're facing the right side of the room. The left foot is the front of the mat and the right foot is the back of the mat. Arms out to shoulder height. So we're going to move from warrior two to high lunge to twisted warrior. Take a breath in, bring that right hand around and up to high lunge. And on your out breath, find twisted warrior to the left. Breath in, left hand comes down and around, find high lunge. Breath out, drop the back heel, find warrior two. We're doing this 2 more times. Breath in, right hand comes down, around, turn the hips, lift the heel, high lunge. Breath out, find twisted warrior. Breath in, left arm scoops down, around, find high lunge. Breath out, drop the back heel and find warrior two. 1 more, breath in, right arm comes down, around, toes of the back foot. And breath out, twist and turn to the left, left hand back, right hand forward, twisted warrior. Breath in, bring that left hand down, around, find high lunge, and then release the hands down to the floor Walk the hands all the way around to the back of the mat, finding yourself facing the back, right knee bent. Drop that left heel down and windmill that left hand up and over to find your warrior two position for a couple of breaths. So now we're facing the back of the mat. Right hand is pointing to the back of the mat, right knee is bent, left leg is straight. So we're going to transition again from warrior two to high lunge to twisted warrior, using the breath to move. Breath in, the left arm scoops down, around, meets the right, comes up to the ceiling, toes of the back foot. Breath out, twist, warrior, twisted. Breath in, right arm scoops down, around, lifts up to the ceiling, high lunge. Breath out, drop the back heel, warrior two. Breath in, scoop the left arm down, around, find high lunge, toes of the back foot. Breath out, twist to warrior twist. Breath in, right arm scoops down, around, lifts up, high lunge. Breath out, drop the back heel and find your warrior two. And again, left arm scoops down, around, finds high lunge, toes of the back foot. Breath out, twist to warrior twist. Breath in, right arm scoops down, around, find high lunge. And on your breath out, bring the hands to the hips. Step forward onto that front foot, bringing the left foot to meet. Finding ourselves facing the back of the mat, getting ready for sun salutations. So these sun salutations I'm going to be taking with jump backs, but feel free to step back to plank if you wish. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, bring the hands down to the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift the chest. And then make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. A few breaths in here. So when I make my way to the front of the mat, I'm going to be jumping both feet forward. But you can either step one foot forward and then the other. Your next breath in, take a gaze in between your hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastitihi. Release the hands by the side of the body. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Start to fold from the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back, plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Taking yourself back to down dog. Lifting the hips, either chest to thighs, or rolling straight over those toes. Holding it in down dog just for a couple of breaths. On your next breath in, gazing between the hands, take a bend in the knees, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Relax the head. Breath in, bring the hands up towards the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastitihi. Bring the hands to the thighs, take a bend into the knees. Take a couple of rounds of that flexion and extension through the spine, moving in and out of those two places. The head and the tailbone lifts on the inhale and you push the chest forward, and on the exhale you curl everything in. Next time you come through neutral, release the hands to the floor. Step both feet back to plank. Lift the hips and squeeze those heels back. So we're still transitioning around to the right side, so we still have to lift the left foot. We should be facing the back of the mat. So really listen to those instructions as we move. The next move we're going to make will be triangle and reverse warrior. So bringing your left leg up towards the ceiling. And then on your out breath, bring that knee to the chest, gaze in between the hands as you step your left foot through. Drop your back heel, windmill that right arm up and over, straighten both legs. So the left toes facing the back of the mat, right toes facing that right edge. Then reach forward with that left hand, bring it to the inside of that left leg. And raise that right hand to the ceiling, maybe gaze up towards that thumb. Feel like you're tucking that left tailbone under, the left bum cheek under and the right hip turning out. Your right shoulder in line with the left. Then maybe that gaze up to the thumb to get that rotation of that cervical spine. But think about not locking out in that left knee. Give it a little micro bend, switch on the muscles in that space. Try and create a little space on that left side of the body so you're not just falling over that left leg. Your next breath in, bring those shoulders over the hips, take a bend into your left knee. Let the left hand lift to the ceiling, the right hand either come down that right leg or find that bind behind the back of that left thigh. Breathing into that rib cage on the left side, so now your left knee's bent, your right leg is straight. And you're feeling that stretch along the skin, along the waist on that left side body. Then keeping that right hand in a bind if you're bound, or just down the back of that right leg if not. Straighten again through that left leg, and then bring that left hand to the inside of that left shin again, with the bind of the hand rather than the lift of that right hand. So we should feel like we could go in between two pieces of glass here, one in front, one in behind us, and they could come quite close together because we're in a nice straight line. Head in line with the spine, use the muscles in that right side of the neck to keep the head lifted. Taking one more breath in this space. Then release the bind if you're bound. Turn to face those left feet. Walk the hands all the way around towards your right foot. Bend your right knee, so you're in low lunge. Then drop that left heel. Windmill the left arm up and over, straighten through your right leg. To do exactly the same now, facing towards the front of the mat in triangle, so reach forward with the right hand comes to the inside of that right leg. Left hand lifts, tuck that right bum cheek under, turn the left hip out. Turn that right shoulder under the left, maybe gaze up to that left thumb to get that rotation of the upper part of the spine. Create a little space along that right side of the body. Keep that head in line with the spine, so use the muscles this time in the left side of the neck to hold it in place. Easy breaths in, easy breaths out. And then your next breath in, bring those shoulders over the hips, take a bend into your right knee. And then lift that right hand up to the ceiling, left hand can trail down the left leg, or find a bind onto the back of that right thigh. Feeling the stretch of the skin down the right waist, into that right rib cage, into those intercostal muscles. Try and feel like you're squeezing that right shoulder back towards that right hip to give some space between the neck. And then keeping that bind if you can, if you're bound, or the left hand down the left leg, straighten up through the right leg, and then reach forward again with that right hand, taking it into a bound triangle, or just a triangle with the hand by the side of that left thigh. Again, thinking about those two planes of glass either side of the body. Try not to lock out with that right knee if you can, giving a little softness into that space. Your next breath in, bring those shoulders back over the hips. Turn to face the front of the mat, step forward with your left foot. Take a little paddle through those feet A little movement through those hips. Taking now the move back around to the other side. So we're going around to the left. But we're going to be doing sun salutations first. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over the hips, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in, come to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank or chaturanga. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. And then make your way back to down dog. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. Holding it in down dog for a couple of breaths. Feeling that back of the body in the skin, along that body stretching. On your next breath in, gaze in between the hands, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow that body to fold over those legs. And your next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. And bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti Hi. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back with the opposite leg than what you did before. Release to the floor, then roll through and up and lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog again for a couple of breaths, holding it in this space. If you're stepping forward, step forward with the opposite foot. If you're coming with me, jump to the front of the mat. And allow that body to forward fold over those legs. Your breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti Hi. Bring a bend into the knees, bring the hands onto the top of the thighs. Take a couple of spinal articulations of flexion and extension. Just neutralising out that spine from those forward and back bends. Just noticing how the whole of the spine feels from the top of the neck all the way down to that tailbone as you move in and out of these two places. And then when you next come back through neutral, come back up to standing, roll the shoulders back. So we're going to be taking it this time into a dancer pose, so our balancing pose. Bring your weight onto your right foot and lift your left knee up to hip height. Then take a hold of the ankle of that left foot and then bring that left knee back to meet the right, wiggling the hand down the foot to be on the outside edge. Raise the right hand to the ceiling. And you can choose to stay here, squeezing that left foot into the bum, or come forward to find dancer, reaching forward with the right hand. When you've got to your space of fold, then push that left foot into that left hand, away from the body. If you're still up standing, squeeze that left foot in towards the bum, holding it in dancer, just for a couple of breaths. Finding those muscles in those ankles of the right foot. One more breath. Then slowly transition back up. Bring that right hand back to the hip, left hand back to the hip, and let that left knee come back to the front. Holding here, still in that standing balance, using hip flexor strength. If you wish to have a moment, straightening out that left leg forward in front of you, pushing the left heel away. Then taking a bend back into that left knee, slowly and mindfully, stepping it all the way back to the back of the mat. Release the hands then to the floor. Walk all the way around towards that front leg. Sorry, that back leg, the left leg. Then bring those shoulders back over those hips. And then step forward onto your left foot and bring your right knee up to hip height. Squeeze those toes of the right foot back towards the shins. Then take a hold of the right foot with that right hand. Bring that right knee back to meet the left. So we're now finding the balance on that left side. Raise that left hand up to the ceiling. Choice to stay here, squeezing the right foot into the bum. Or if you're coming with me, reaching forward with that left hand. As you've got to your fold, push that right foot into that right hand. So we find dancer to the back of the mat. Feeling those muscles in those ankles. Twitching, holding that body. Finding that equilibrium. That standing body. One more breath here. Then slowly bring that body, that torso back up, stacking over the hips. Left hand comes onto the left hip. Release that right foot and bring that knee back through up to hip height. Choice to either stay with bent leg or straighten that right leg out to engage the muscles in those thighs, in those hip flexors. The longer the make the limbs, the harder the pose becomes. And then take a bend back into that right knee, stepping slowly back with that right foot. Bring the hands down to the floor, step back to plank, holding it in plank for a couple of breaths. And then raising up with those hips, squeezing those heels back, having a little nod and a shake of those heads. Then slowly walk those feet to the front of the mat or step or jump to the front. And as you get to the front, allow that body to fold over those legs. On your in-breath, bring those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. On your out-breath, bring the hands to the chest. So taking sun salutations twice on this side. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step or jump back to a plank or chaturanga. Release to the floor. If you wish to drop the knees, drop the knees. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. And then make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting those hips, squeezing the heels back to find down dog just for a couple of breaths. Then your next breath in, step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Out breath, hands together at chest center, Samastiti. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands down towards the floor, bending the knees as much as you need to. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step back with the opposite foot or jump, come to plank or chaturanga. Release to the floor, your variation, straight bodies, dropping the knees or hover. Lift up the chest, then release that chest back down, tuck under those toes, the chest comes back to the thighs. Push into the hands, push into the feet, lift up the hips, squeeze the heels back again, just for a few breaths in down dog. And if you've stepped back, you use the same foot to step forward or jump. If you're jumping, come back to the front of the mat, allow the body to fold over the legs on the exhale, let go of the head. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest, Samastiti. Then bring the hands to the thighs, take a bend into those knees. Take a couple of rounds of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head. Breath out, everything fold. And again, breath in, lift. Breath out and fold. Feel that movement through that spine. And again, lift on the inhale and exhale. Come to neutral. And then standing up, taking our second balance of tree with some arm movements. Just have to move myself forward because of the light. So bringing your weight into your right foot, bring your left foot to either the inside of the shin or above the knee into the thigh, turning the left knee out to the side. We push that left foot into wherever it's grounding into, either the shin or the thigh. Bring the hands together at the chest. Push into those palms. Engage the forearms, the biceps, the triceps. Keep pushing strong into that right foot. Your next breath in, raise the hands all the way up towards the ceiling. And then on your out breath, bring the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, push the hands down to the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold it for a breath here. Then release the hands, bring them back around in front. Left arm under the right, take a bend into the elbows, find the back of the hands or the palms. And raise those elbows up towards the vision, up to the shoulder height. Then release those hands, bring them back to your hips. Bring that left knee back forward. Step that left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Release the hands down and walk all the way around to the front of the mat. So we're now back facing the front. And then bring that right foot to meet the left into a standing position. This time put your weight into your left foot. Take a bend into your right knee. Turn the knee out, bring a place for that foot either on the shin or onto the inside of that left thigh. Bring the palms together at the chest, push into the palms, engage those forearms, biceps, triceps. Then raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms together, relax through the shoulders. Then release those hands, bring them behind the back, interlace the fingers at the bum, push the hands down to the floor, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Then release those hands, bring them out in front of you. This time right elbow hooks under the left, back of the hands or palms, raise the elbows, stretch through those rhomboid muscles. And release those hands to the hips. Release that right foot to the floor. Take a paddle of the feet. Taking sun salutations again from the front of the mat. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, choice to jump back, chaturanga or plank, or step back. Roll through, up, lift up the chest into your back bend. Making your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs, or rolling straight over those toes, lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Nice long easy breaths in, easy breaths out. Then when you're ready, take a gaze in between the hands, step or jump to the front of the mat, allow the body to fold over the legs. Breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, hands to the chest. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to plank. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog for a couple of breaths, finding that stretch of the back of the body. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. Then stepping forward or jumping forward to the front of the mat. Allow that body to fold over those legs. Breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, hands to chest. Release the hands to the thighs, take a bend in the knees, find chair. And then start to move that spine in flexion and extension. And then come back to a neutral place. Find chair position, weight into the heels, raise the hands to the ears, the arms to the ears, sorry. Tuck that tailbone under, lift the lower belly up, sink into those hips a little lower. Relax through those shoulders. Then bring those hands to the chest. Right elbow hooks over the left knee, turn and twist to that left side of the room. Rotation of the spine, keep the hips and knees level. Then put your weight into your left foot and step your right foot back to a twisted lunge. Keep pushing into those hands, keep bent into that left knee. Right heel pushes back. Rotation of the shoulders to the left. One more breath here. Then release the hands down, walk the hands all the way to the back of the mat. Step your left foot to meet your right. Take a bend into the knees, find your chair, raise the hands to the ceiling. Sink the hips down nice and low, feather-like touch into those feet. Bums tucked under, bellies drawn back, lower belly lifted. Then bring those hands to the chest. This time left elbow onto the right knee, rotate and twist to the right, keeping those hips nice and low. Weight into the heels. Knees aligned. Rotation of that waist. Then bring your weight into your right foot, step your left foot back. Keep that rotation in lunge position. Right knee bent, left leg straight. Then release those hands down either side of that right foot. Step forward with the left foot, allow the body to fold. Breath in, raise those hands to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Sun salutation rounds. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step or jump back to a plank or chaturanga. Release whichever way to the floor you wish. Come through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog or rolling straight over those toes or chest back to thighs. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back to hold down dog for a couple of breaths. Then your choice to either step forward or jump to the front of the mat. Both feet come together, allow the body to fold over those legs. Your next breath in, raise those hands to the ceiling. On your out breath, bring the hands to the chest, Samastitihi. Breath in, raise the hands. Breath out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. If you choose to step back, opposite foot, jump back, chaturanga or plank. Release to the floor, your variation. Either progress it or regress it, depending on your energy levels. Your breath in lifts the chest. And then find your way back to your down dog. Chest to thighs or roll straight over the toes. Find down dog for a few breaths. Find some softness through the shoulders and the neck. Maybe you wish to have a little paddle through those feet. If you step back with one foot, step forward again with it or jump to the front of the mat. Allow that body to fold over the legs. Then breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, bring the hands to the chest. Hands to the thighs. Take a little spinal articulation. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum. Breath out, fold everything in. Breath in and lift. Breath out, fold everything in. Breath in, lift. Breath out, fold everything in. Come back to neutral. Straighten up through the body. Widen the feet as wide as the mat. We're facing the back of the mat. Bring the hands together at the chest. Sink in the hips. Bring those bums as low as you can go to find your yogic squat. Elbows pushing into the knees, tailbone tucking under. Finding that malasana, that yogic place. Closing the eyes, taking a few moments here. before we take you back around to that front of the mat. So bringing the hands to the floor, your left foot stays on the outside of your left hand and you step your right foot back. Just find lizard pose for a couple of breaths here, dropping into that right hip. Right heel is pushing to straighten that right leg. Left knee's bent, pushing that left knee in towards that left shoulder. One more breath here. Then we're going to walk ourselves all the way around to the front of the mat. This time let the hand of the right come into the inside of that right foot. The left leg is straight. We sink the hips low. We keep grounded into the hands, slight softness through the elbows. Right knees pushing into the right shoulder, left heels pushing back. Lizard pose back to the front of the mat. Then stepping your left foot to the outside edge of your left hand, find that Malasana again at the front edge of the mat, closing the eyes, pushing into those knees, lifting up through that chest, having some hip openers at the end of our practice. So we've done 2 full rotations around the mat, going through all the way around to the left and back again, and again all the way around to the left and back again. Seeing all points of your room, your mat, your corners, just getting a different perspective of where you are in space, switching on that thought mechanism to where you need to be, what leg you need to lift, keeping you switched into the moment, into the present. Just one more breath here in Malasana. And then release the bum to the middle of the mat, the feet to the front of the mat, keeping the knees bent. Bring the hands behind you, turn the fingertips out, feet a little further into the bum. Chest stays forward as you drop the knees over to your right side, just taking a little rotation, a little neutralization of that spine. Bring those knees back to center, still keeping those shoulders facing forward. Let the knees then go over to the other side. Knees back into the middle. Release the hands from behind you. Bring them around to grab a hold of the feet. Bring the feet in towards the body. Let the knees drop out to the side. Straighten up through the back. Relax through the shoulders. Push that chest forward. Maybe just have a little movement of that head in all directions. Maybe just a little rotation through that spine. Maybe you want to bring that chin into the chest, roll it to one shoulder, back through the center, roll it to the other. Back into center, squeeze the chin in. Then maybe raise that gaze to the ceiling, stretching through the front of the neck. Then bring that head back to neutral. Maybe fold over those legs, pushing the elbows into the thighs to maybe help those knees come a little lower, a little more stretch on the inside of those groins. And then releasing the legs out long. Maybe bring them out to the width of the mat straight away. Come tall through the spine and taking that slow movement all the way down to the mat. Use those long limbs to help you come slowly to the floor. Engage into that core center. Shoulders come to the mat, back of the head. And once you lay down, just bring the arms out as wide as you can into a T shape or into a 5-pointed star. And just take a moment, long deep breath in, long breath out. So the whole body is open at the front, grounded into the floor on the back. Notice the parts of the body that are touching the floor. Noticing the skin that is being touched by the clothing. Close the eyes. Soften the forehead, soften the jaw. Let that tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth and those lips to gently part. If you're holding any tension in any part of the body, give that muscle a squeeze and then let that muscle release. Maybe you wish to pause me here to have a little longer in relaxation. Or if you want to come with me to bring ourselves to seated, start to bring some movement in the fingers, the toes, the wrists and the ankles. Maybe bring those hands all the way up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes, maybe taking a nice big arch into that lower back. Flare those ribs as much as you wish. Maybe take a yawn. And then bringing those hands up and over, bringing the knees in towards the chest. Give those knees a squeeze, a little rock of that body from side to side, just to massage that spine, thanking it for practice. And then either rolling onto your right side or left side, making a pillow with the hands, or rock up and down that body if you wish, bringing yourself to seated more energetically. If you've rolled onto your side, take a couple of deep breaths here. If you've already arrived in seated into a cross-legged position, keep the eyes closed, the head gently bowed. And then pushing into one hand, bringing yourself up to seated if you're on your side. Find that comfortable seated position, crossing the legs or legs out in front or sitting on the knees. Place the hands on the thighs wherever you are. Take a breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, bring the palms together at the top. And then as you breathe out, bring the hands to the chest, soft gaze towards the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.